Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters for their support: the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board and the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin, Outpost Natural Foods Co-op, and Superior Equipment and Supply.
My name is Tony Hook, Hook's Cheese Company, Mineral Point, Wisconsin. I've been making cheese for 44 years. We make over 50 different varieties of cheeses, counting our aged cheddars. When we bought the plant in Mineral Point, the plant we're in right now, we decided that the cold storage was large enough that we were going to start aging cheddars. So we decided we would get into aging cheese 3, 4, 5, maybe up to 7 years. Never expected at the time we would get to 10 and 12 and maybe even 15 and beyond. We started in 1970 making cheese, or I did, and Julie started helping me in 1976 when we moved to Buck Grove. And at that time, most cheeses made in Wisconsin and in the country were just commodity cheeses. You were making them thousands of pounds just to sell at the grocery stores. You were usually selling to big distributors. In the last 10 to 12 years, it's become more of an artisan and specialty movement, especially in Wisconsin, all over the nation really, but especially in Wisconsin, where we've come up with probably 300 to 400 different new varieties of cheeses ourselves, and it's really caught on. People are looking for different and for more flavorful cheeses, so I think the artisan thing is really flying.
Tony Hook, the legendary man of Mineral Point. How are you?
Hi, Kyle. Nice to meet you. I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good. This is a real honor to be here, where the cheese is made.
This is it.
Yeah. Okay, take me to the milk.
Okay.
This is a true boutique Wisconsin cheese-making operation, but it's hard to believe that all of your famous cheeses since '87 have come out of this little spot.
Yep, it's true. A small make room.
Wow.
And typically it's only 2 cook vats, the large cook vat and the very small cook vat. The large one will hold 42,000 pounds of milk. The small one will hold 10,000 pounds of milk.
And you've been doing this, you and Julie, for 35 years, right?
I've been making cheese for 44. Julie's been working with me since '76. So
Wow.
Yep, 38 years.
Well, take me on a little bit of a tour if you'd be so kind. What are you doing here?
We'll start with the vat that's cooking right now. This is actually agitating the curd in the whey right now. But before we were stirring the milk, stirring the cultures in, and then we put rennet in and coagulate it, let it coagulate. You stirred that in for a couple minutes, pulled the paddles out, just let the milk sit there. It'll take about 30 minutes to coagulate, get about as thick as a thick yogurt. Then once it's thick like that, we cut it with wire knives. So you end up with little tiny cheese cubes. And as soon as you cut those, the whey wants to start coming out of there.
Right.
Because out of 10 pounds of milk, you get 1 pound of cheese. So that means you've got 9 pounds of liquid to get rid of. So what we're doing right at this point, we're stirring it and cooking it in the vat. This is the pan. The cheese,
Ooh,
that's pretty
hot.
warm.
Holy.
There's steam shooting underneath the bottom of the pan. So if we were able to lift this up, you'd see steam tubes shooting at the bottom of the pan, cooking it. So we want to keep agitating it to keep it off the bottom, keep it from burning. And we also want to keep agitating it to stir it and dry the curd out a little more.
And this is 10,000 pounds of milk.
Today we had about 8,400.
Slowly being turned into 1,000 pounds of cheese.
Correct. Today we're making white cheddar.
Okay.
So right now we've got real tiny curd. When we're done, before we put them in the forms, we'll have what most Wisconsinites know as Wisconsin cheddar curds.
Your raw material, your milk is so precious to you guys.
We get our milk from local farms right around Mineral Point. The farmers we've been dealing with have been Some of them have been in their families for up to 8 generations. They're all family farms.
That's early
50
19th century.
Yes, 1810 I think is
Yeah.
the first one. So from the farmers we had at Buck Grove, where we started in 76, 3 miles out of town towards Hollandale, we had 10 patrons out there. 7 of those have retired. So we get all of our milk from 3 patrons we've been dealing with since 76. We always say the quality of our cheese is at least 90% owed to the quality of our farmers. You know, they provide us with great milk and we can make great cheese. If all you have is just average milk, that's basically all you're going to get is average cheese.
So how many recipes in your master cheesemaker head, and you are a master at them, do you have in there?
Well, at least 55 to 60, and I'm always coming up with a few more. We're going to work on a couple more in another week or two. So,
I mean, just listening to the soliloquy of the process that you shared, and then to extrapolate that out across 55, 60, I think that's more names that I could remember, much less detail, step, 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 step.
That's right.
You're draining some whey, I'm guessing.
Yep. So we've pumped off, 98% of the way. What we'll start doing now will be the cheddaring process.
Okay.
Yep.
And what color is this cheddar going to be?
This will be white cheddar today.
And,
If we were making orange cheddar, we would have added annatto, vegetable coloring.
Right, right. Tell me the story about orange and cheddar.
There are quite a few theories. One is that back in the 30s or before the 30s, when New York was still the reigning cheese producer and we were trying to overtake them, Wisconsin,
Yep.
their white cheddar was out in the marketplace and we wanted to show that ours was different. So try our orange cheddar. And that just caught on and kept going.
This is the breakfast of champions.
Hardly has any flavor at this point. You go through this whole process, add the salt, let the salt be absorbed by the curd. After about 10 minutes, when you eat the curd, it's just brings out all the flavor.
It tastes like a solid glass of milk with a lot of squeak.
Okay, we're going to start cutting this and turning the slabs.
Okay.
Starting the cheddaring process.
I just have to take a minute though, because you said this was 8,500 pounds of milk
Right.
down to about 100 pounds.
About 1,000 pounds
Or
of cheese,
1,000
about
pounds.
850 to 1,000 pounds of cheese, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Now this is cow milk cheddar. We also make some cheeses from sheep milk and from goat milk.
You need any help?
If you want to put some gloves on, you can.
Oh, I live for gloves.
Move it down some.
Okay.
They'll start spreading out, so we want some room for them to spread.
Tram it down. Roll it over.
It's like harvesting a 20-pound salmon of cheese. It's hefty and slippery and sort of has a mind of its own. Boy, you can feel the creaminess through the gloves though.
They'll sit here 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll cut them in half and pile them on top of each other.
So you're really just rotating the liquid back out, or
Right, you're rotating them so that the liquid, because it will, as they spread out, the way puddles will kind of lock in between them.
Sure.
And as they stretch, they'll let way out of between the curds, and you want to be able to drain all of that.
Have you and Julie ever had any happy accidents in your process of the 60 recipes in your head?
Definitely. One of those was our Tilston Point, one of our own original recipes, but it was just going to be a blue cheese with a white exterior, only a little drier. But about 3 batches in, we started getting some red mold growing on it, the bee linens, which is what gives Limburger its flavor and its smell, and it started growing on it, and we aged that vat out, and we thought that was better than the original Tilston, so we started going that way. So we like to have our wheels have an orange rind on the outside and blue on the inside.
And your caves are really precious to you and really important for the process of the cheese and for a hook's flavor.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Now we're going to cover them.
Yep. In the wintertime, we need to cover them just to keep the heat in, so they will drain better.
I've never tucked in cheese curds before.
Tuck them in for a little nap.
Exactly.
Right? Since we're leaving the cheese curds drain for about 15 or 20 minutes, let's take a tour through one of the caves.
This is a legendary caves.
Ah, legendary. So this is cave number 3. We actually have 3 of them. We are built into a big hill here. So the side of the caves are basically underground. The slope of the hill is the windows. So
all this talk of caves is inconsequential to me, except I want to know where you keep the 10 and the 12 and the 15-year cheddars.
well, I can't really take you into that cave, but because the airflow will affect the cheese itself. I will show you cave number 3 where we do our blues, but I can't show you the rest of it.
It's a consolation prize. I drove across the state.
And I'll even bring some out for you to try.
Oh, all right, then we'll be okay. All right. Lead on. I'll manage.
Okay.
After you, sir.
You can go ahead.
All right.
So this is one of the caves. This one we mainly cure all of our blue cheeses in except the Tilston Point. We usually cure them in here for about a month. If you cut a wheel in half when it was about 10 days old, there would be no blue inside of it. At about day 12 to 15, you cut a wheel in half, you would see a little blue, and by the day 20, it would just be exploded inside.
How long do you age them total?
Typically, like our original blue, like the rack right behind you, we age at least a year. You know, we usually like to go a year and a half is optimum for us on that one.
So this is literally how blue cheese is made.
So we actually add the liquid mold to the vat, just like the starter culture, and actually at the same time.
Okay. So this wheel's about a day or 2 old.
This is a couple days old.
Yeah.
Typically, we would wait till it's about 5 to 7 days old.
Okay.
So what we have here, 60 needle pierce machine. So we'll pierce each side with 60 needle holes. We'll pierce it once, and we'll pierce it on the other side.
It's nothing but air that's being introduced in there.
No, all you're doing is forcing a hole. These are solid pins. So all you're doing is forcing a hole, forcing 60 holes in there, just letting oxygen go in. Once it can start breathing, the blue can start growing.
The liquid blue that you put in when you were coagulating and so forth is already in there. A little bit of air and then it can do its trick.
It can do its thing.
Yeah.
It can start to...
It's just that simple.
Just that simple.
Yeah.
Yep. Putting in the mill guards right now. So as soon as we get that all set, we'll start running the slabs of cheese through the cheddar mill. We'll cut them into cheddar curd. We'll stir those out. We'll drain that once they're all milled. We'll stir them a while, get the lumps broke up. Then we'll ditch it and let a little more whey drain out of the center. And then we'll stir it again and salt it.
And after all of that, then you'll press them.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll put them in the 40-pound forms and we'll press them into blocks. So we're running each of the slabs through the mill, cutting them into cheddar curd size. They'll start trying to knit together again. So we want to keep them from lumping up. So then when we salt them, the salt can mix evenly throughout.
That looks like a little bit of salt.
It is.
Yeah. Just a little.
We usually put about 3% salt on, and the finished product will end up with about 1.8%.
So this is kosher sea salt? What do we...
This is just plain salt, ground a little bit finer so it'll be absorbed faster by the cheese. From this point, we'll get all the lumps broke up, get the salt mixed in quite well. Then we'll ditch it again, let a little bit of whey drain off while we put it in the forms, and we'll wait a little, weigh it and put it in the forms and put it in the press.
And then it gets pressed and it stays like
and
that for how long?
we'll leave it in the press for an hour and a half to 2 hours.
And once that press hits, the last vestige of any liquid in here doesn't stand a chance.
Right, it's going to be pressed out.
But that's the kind of, I guess, acridness you need for it to become cheddar.
Right. Then we'll take it out, we'll wrap it in long hold bags, put it in a cardboard box with a liner, and put it on a pallet, put it in the cold storage ready to cure. So that's the rest of the cheese making day. Let's try some cheese.
Oh, look at this spread. Tony, I love it. So what do we have arrayed here?
We've got some 2-year white cheddar, some 8-year white cheddar, 10-year, 12-year, and 15-year orange cheddar. What we made today is white cheddar, and we will probably age it to at least 2 years, maybe even a long ways beyond that.
And that's a great semi-sharp, got some softness to it, buttery. This is better than the cheddar that everybody knows, but it's what cheddar ought to taste like.
That's right.
So this is 2-year.
This one is 8.
All right, here we go. It's sharp, but there's this great sweet backbone to it. And then it's got that milky fullness. And then something else that's almost like a great cut of steak or something coming through.
This one's the 10-year.
Oh, yeah.
We cut the 1, 3, 5, 7, and then 10 and 12 as orange. We cut the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 as white.
I'm sorry, did you say something? I was just really enjoying this piece of cheese. That is amazing. And then 12?
12, yep.
Right now, there are connoisseurs of cheese, chefs, home cooks alike, that are just, they know how lucky I am. There's envy coming through the TV screen. Yeah, that's just sublime. This is my sweet spot.
Thank you.
It settles down.
It does. It smooths out.
It settles down from the 10-year.
Yep. Starts smoothing out. Usually getting more crystals.
More crystals, but more like frothy cream, buttercream comes back forward. Yeah. Wow. That is really good. Okay.
Okay.
I just need to do this.
No, no. No, be prepared.
So you had no idea.
When we bought this
15 years
plant,
ago.
when we bought this plant, I didn't think we would get to this point. But by about 2000, I knew we were going to be aging a bunch to 10-year, 12-year. At that point, I didn't even know we would save some out to 15. The first vat, I think, went on sale in 2009.
And how was it received?
Well, it was sold out in about 8 days. We got national and international attention.
Yeah.
It was put in, there was an article done by the Wisconsin State Journal, and from there, within a day or two, it was picked up nationally and then internationally. And I mean, we were getting calls from all over.
Yeah. It's sweet. It's like a hybrid.
Doesn't even have that acidic bite like you get with a 2 and 3 and 5.
It comes back around to a little aspect of almost the, when the blue comes through right next to the cheddar and that little in between, you've managed to capture that sweet unctuous, which is overused, but that really great little piquant. I can't even describe it. It's like
almost sort of a fruity flavor.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like this the perfect bite of two things paired together.
Right.
Only it's in every bite.
It is.
That's really profoundly good. I just want to keep eating, by the way.
Go for it.
So these cheeses, it's no surprise. It looks like you've done okay with awards here. A couple through the years.
Done a couple of them, yeah.
There's
Got
Julie's.
One or two. This one is the world champion that Julie got in 1982. The one and only woman to win then and through today.
Wow.
Some women have won the U.S. championship. Some have won first overall at ACS, but nobody else has done the world championship.
I assume you're like every other cheesemaker we've met here in the show. You don't do it to win these.
No, it's just more or less to know that you've made a good product and you can compete against the best of them. Because I mean,
Yeah.
I think all the cheesemakers in Wisconsin are the best of them.
I hope I wasn't in the way too much today.
No. This
All right.
worked fine.
Good, good.
Glad you guys came.
Cool. Well, I'm going to keep this hairnet, even though I can take it off now as a memento.
Okay,
And,
I'd like to send you with some 10-year cheddar and a bag of the cheddar curd we made today.
And I'd like to say I am very happy to receive these things. Fresh curds,
welcome.
Hooks Wisconsin curds, and legendary 10-year cheddar.
Thank you.
It's a good day to be a foodie.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tony. See you later.
See ya.
Keep making good cheese.
We will. Thank you. See ya.
Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters for their support: the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board and the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin, Outpost Natural Foods Co-op, Superior Equipment and Supply, the restaurants of Potawatomi Bingo Casino, Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, Something Special from Wisconsin, and Colectivo Coffee Roasters.